Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our Snow Hill Volleyball preseason interest meeting. I'm bummed that we can't have a traditional interest meeting with lots of good food and great conversation, but I will tell you more than anything, I'm so grateful that I can sit here and talk to you about a 2020-2021 volleyball season, something that just a few short months ago I wasn't even sure would be a possibility. So grateful for that. One of the things that I am particularly bummed about is that the communication is going to seem one way. Me talking to you, you not really having a chance to ask questions or stop me or, to clarify some things. So I wanted to really encourage you and invite you to reach out to me when you finish watching this video. If you have any questions, there are two ways to get up with me. You can email me at the address here on the screen, or you can call me, text me. That's my cell phone number here at the bottom. So either of those ways that you want to get up with me, I would really invite you to do that. All right, as you've probably heard 1,000 times with school-related things this year, please keep in mind that the situation is very fluid. I am recording this video on October 7th, but the reality of this COVID world we live in is that some of the things I say could be irrelevant tomorrow, October 8th. So that's just things change at the speed of COVID, it seems like. And so I just want to preface everything that I'm saying with that message, that it's true today, and I hope that it's going to be true until the season is over, but I can't be sure. So as of right now, the fall sports schedule is actually broken into two sessions, or two seasons, if you will. The fall session starts on November 2nd, and it ends December 9th. That's just a 5-week window for us to practice, to get back in the habit of being an athlete. So we'll have some volleyball practices on Mondays and Wednesdays from 3:30 to 5:30. And these will be volleyball drills, volleyball practices, volleyball-related things. However, this is not a tryout. It's not an opportunity for us to decide who's playing on which team or who's not going to make the team, etc. So I really encourage you, if you're interested at any level, it's a great opportunity to come out and learn the game and learn your teammates and get to know each other. One of the things that is also clear, at least at this point, is that there will not be any scrimmages during this fall session. So from November 2nd to December 9th, we won't be able to scrimmage anyone unless that changes. Then at December 9th, we will pause our practices and wait until March 15th. And that is when our actual season begins. By season, I mean we can try out, we can scrimmage, we can play games. And so on March 15th, we will resume practicing, and our games will start April 5th through May 8th. That is, again, about a 5-week window there of competition. All right, so some of the things we know, or at least we think we know. Just like in past years, before a player can even step onto the court, they have to have that physical paperwork and that family ID information turned in. I want to pause here to refresh you, or maybe let you know for the first time how to do that. So the easiest way is to go onto the Snow Hill High School page and click on Athletics here, and then click on Registration. That will take you to a page with a few links. This first one will take you to our Family ID page, our school's Family ID page. Ben Waples, our athletic trainer, is the one in charge of Family ID and physicals. But essentially, just so you know, before any high school athlete can participate in a sport, they have to have proof that they are physically able to do so. And so they go to the doctor, they get a physical, the doctor fills out some forms and determines your eligibility, at least from a health standpoint. And there's also some insurance information as well that the school needs to know. So it's one of those things that is extremely important, and so important, like I said, that you can't participate in a sport without it. Here is the physical form, but like I said, this page will explain a lot to you, okay? The second thing that we know is even if you attend school from home, you are allowed to practice with the team. So if you're one of those ladies that's at home right now from 8 to 3 doing your school online, that's totally fine. You are still able to come to school at 3:30 and practice with the team. So just a note that that's important. The next three things are really COVID related. The first one, obviously, players should bring their own water. The days of a pile of cups sitting around and you just grab one and fill it and drink from it and set it down for the next person, those days have been put on pause, obviously, with COVID. So our water fountains are closed off, but we do have the bottle fillers, if you can picture that. So if you bring a water bottle, you can fill it here, but you should definitely bring your own water bottle, and obviously we encourage you not to share that with other players. The next thing, players, coaches, and managers, basically anyone in the gym, must wear a mask at practice. Obviously, for the players, once we get into the physically demanding things, the mask can come off. But for the most part, it's a good practice to remember to bring a mask to practice. Good habit to develop, I should say. And then lastly, before you enter the building, you're going to walk up to the front area, the front lobby. That's the only entrance that you can come in. And you'll see a QR code. And if you bring your phone, which you should, you'll scan that QR code and it will take you to a COVID survey. This is something that the county makes every single person who walks into our buildings complete. But it's really simple. It's just a 3-question, like, have you had any COVID symptoms? Have you been around anyone with COVID symptoms? Type of questions. And that will determine whether or not you are eligible to continue coming into the building or if you have to go home. So before you can practice or even enter the building, you need to make that a part of your daily routine as well. And you'll have to show me proof that you are allowed to come in. And that's something that we can dive into the details later. But those are the things we know. The things that we're still not sure about, and I'm going to pause here and just say that I know that you guys have had questions for a while, and I waited as long as I could to make this video because I was hoping to get more answers to your questions. But we're coming up on mid-October, and I feel like even though we don't have all the information, we got to get what we know out to you. So unfortunately, there are some things that we still don't know. We as coaches don't know, we as a county don't know, etc. We don't know how many players can be in the gym at one time. My hope is that any girl who shows up for volleyball practice will be able to practice with us. But there's a possibility that the state will hand down restrictions on how many players we can have in the gym at one time. And if that's the case, the coaches will come up with some type of sign-up sheet or some type of system that is equitable, that each girl can get relatively equal practice time. But right now, we don't know. The second thing we don't know is if parents and spectators will be allowed at the games. If you remember, the games won't be played until the spring, but we still don't have an answer to that. We do know, however, I should have put this on the last slide, but it didn't fit. We do know that no parents or spectators can be at practice. Obviously, the school is trying to restrict exposure to different amounts of people. So if you come and pick your child up a little early, it used to be that you could just duck into practice and watch the last few minutes, but unfortunately with COVID, that's no longer the case. The third bullet really is a huge question mark. And the reality is we don't know if the state is going to allow JV sports to happen this year. I want to remind you that in the fall, everyone can practice. But I don't know if JV will have a spring season. What I have heard is that the state is going to make this decision for all sports so that all sports will have the same decision. So if there's no JV volleyball, it's not like there'll be a JV soccer or JV softball. The state is going to make one decision for all sports. Unfortunately, though, it hasn't made that decision yet. So stay tuned for that. And then in a similar vein, we don't know if varsity will have playoffs. We do know that we'll have a 5-week competition window in the spring. But after that, we're not sure what playoffs look like, if there will be playoffs, etc. I wanted to end right where I started, just by encouraging you to reach out to me. I'm sure there are questions you have that weren't addressed in this kind of limited way of doing things, and I really do apologize for that. But I do want to encourage you to reach out to me. As I said, as we get information and things change, I will continue to update you guys as best as I can, probably through making videos like this. But please, between now and then, don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, anything big or small, please feel free to hit me up. And like I said, I'm going to end positively the same way I began, because I'm really excited to be sitting here talking to you about the next volleyball season. And I know that we have some high hopes this year, and I'm excited and anticipating that we'll get to meet those. So thank you so much. I look forward to meeting you in person one day. But until then, again, please feel free to reach out to me.